David Cassidy was their first pop star. His heartthrob appeal made him massively popular, cherished by millions, who today mourn his passing.
He was the first pop idol I ever remember trying to imagine naked. And I was only like 8.
How can I be sure in a world that's constantly changing?
David Cassidy was definitely my first love. Most definitely.
Where I stand.
Remember that crazy conspiracy theory about the celebrity recluse who officially died 5 years ago? The hottie that captivated millions. Behind the scenes, his family life was anything but idyllic. He died 5 years ago. Now his children have confirmed the rumors. Cassidy, the beloved teen idol, led a difficult personal life. His family displays a side of him that contrasts sharply with his public image.
What do you want to most be remembered for?
Spreading love, bringing light into people's lives, giving everything in my heart and soul, because I know I'm a loving, caring human being.
Stay tuned as we unveil Cassidy's complicated life story and the rumors his children just confirmed about his death. Introduction and early life. His parents, the singer and actor Jack Cassidy and the actress Evelyn Ward, welcomed their son into the world at Flower Fifth Avenue Hospital in New York City. The majority of his mother's genealogy was settled in colonial America, and she also had some Irish and Swiss roots. His father was of Irish and German descent, while his mother was of German and Irish ancestry. His maternal ancestors were among the pioneers that established the city of Newark in the state of New Jersey. During his formative years, he was brought up by his maternal grandparents in a neighborhood in West Orange, New Jersey, which was considered to be of middle-class status. This was due to the fact that his parents were traveling much for their careers. 1956 was the year that he learned from the children of his neighbors that his parents had been divorced for more than 2 years without informing him of the situation. The marriage between Cassidy's father and Shirley Jones, a singer and actress, took place in the year 1956. Sean, Patrick, and Ryan Davis, David's half-brothers, were the 3 children that they had together. David moved into the rental home of Jack Cassidy and Shirley Jones in Irvington, New York, his half-brothers also living there at the time. This occurred in 1968, after David had finished the last session of summer school in order to get the credits necessary to obtain a high school graduation. At the same time that David continued to work half-days in the mailroom of a textile company, he was also pursuing stardom as an actor and singer. As his career began to take off, he made the decision to relocate. It is said that Jack, Cassidy's father, was the one who introduced his son to those who would later become his manager. Ruth Aarons, a former table tennis champion and a close friend of Jack's, was introduced to David Cassidy by Jack when the latter signed a contract with Universal Studios in 1969. Ruth Aarons, who had a history in theater, eventually found her forte as a talent manager. Later on, Aarons represented Cassidy's half-brother Sean. Prior to that, he had been Jack and Shirley Jones's attorney for a number of years. The success that Cassidy achieved on screen was largely due to Aarons, who became a figure of authority and a personal friend to Cassidy. Following the discovery by Aarons that Cassidy had been underage when he signed his contract, she proceeded to rework the deal, resulting in significantly more favorable conditions and a 4-year duration. This occurred after Cassidy had received a meager income from Screen Gems for his work on The Partridge Family during the first season. David's journey to Hollywood. In the musical The Fig Leaves Are Falling, which was performed on Broadway, Cassidy made his debut as a professional actor on January 2, 1969. Following the conclusion of 4 performances, the show was shut down. However, a casting director spotted it and requested that Cassidy perform a screen test. Cassidy appeared in episodes of the television programs Ironside, Marcus Welby, Maryland, Adam 12, Medical Center, and Bonanza after signing a contract with Universal Studios in 1969. All of these shows were set to air on television. In 1970, Cassidy was cast in the role of Keith Partridge on the musical television sitcom The Partridge Family, which was produced by Screen Gems. After showcasing his vocal abilities, Cassidy was given permission to become a member of the studio ensemble and take on the role of lead singer. He and Shirley Jones were the only members of the television ensemble to make an appearance on any recordings of The Partridge Family. The show was successful, but Cassidy's life became more difficult as a result of her fame. When Cassidy was in the thick of his meteoric climb to stardom, he experienced feelings of being suffocated by the show and trapped by the enormous hysteria that surrounded his every action. In May of 1972, in an effort to change his public image, he appeared naked on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine in a photo taken by Annie Leibovitz. The accompanying Rolling Stone article said, among other things, that Cassidy was driving about New York City in the back of a car while stoned and drunk. Cassidy started working on solo albums after the success of a single issued by the Partridge Family pop group. These albums included Cherish and Rock Me Baby, both of which were released in 1972. Within the first year, he had produced his own single, which was a cover of the Association song Cherish, from the album of the same name. The song reached number 9 in the United States, number 2 in the United Kingdom, and a double A side with Could It Be Forever. Additionally, it reached number 1 in both Australia and New Zealand. He embarked on tours that incorporated songs by Partridge in addition to his own solo smashes. Cassidy's solo career. When he first began his career as a solo musician, he briefly held the title of the best-paid entertainment in the entire world. Cassidy's fan club consisted of more people than that of any other pop star, including the Beatles and Elvis Presley, when he was at the pinnacle of his fame. According to the fan magazine David Cassidy, a fictitious version of him was featured in the publication. Sue Guman, a pioneer in the field of Turkish comics, signed a significant number of its issues. During an interview in 1993, Cassidy expressed his dissatisfaction with the way his image was portrayed in the publications, which he felt was a sanitized version of himself. Through the International Star Registry in 1983, his fan club gave him the nickname of a star. Cassidy wrote in his memoirs that he experienced feelings of being overpowered by his popularity, and that it became impossible for me to go in a store or even walk down the street without being stopped by people.
No. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. When 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people screaming at the top of their lungs, I love you. It's so overwhelming, man. It's like, whoa.
His channel to celebrity propelled him into the ranks of adolescent idol, a brand that he detested until much later in life, when he was able to come to terms with his pop idol beginnings. Despite the fact that he desired to become a respected rock musician along the lines of Mick Jagger, he was thrust into its ranks. The series resulted in the production of 10 albums by the Partridge Family and 5 solo albums by Cassidy, the majority of which sold more than 1 million copies collectively. The Partridge Family had already achieved amazing popularity on a global scale, but Cassidy's solo career became even more successful because of this. His concerts were so successful that they were completely sold out in big arenas all over the world, that he became an immediate drawing card. The phrase Cassidy Mania was established by the media as a result of the widespread excitement that was caused by these concerts. In the year 1972, for instance, he performed at the Houston Astrodome in Texas to two completely sold-out crowds of 56,000 people, each over the course of a single weekend. His concert at Madison Square Garden in New York City was so popular that it was completely sold out in a single day, which led to disturbances after the show. In 1973, he performed at Wembley Stadium, which was completely sold out, as part of his concert tours around the United Kingdom. The level of public hysteria in Australia in 1974 was so high that there were calls for him to be deported from the nation. This was especially the case after the insanity that occurred during his performance event at Melbourne Cricket Ground, which was attended by 33,000 people. The gate stampede that occurred at the penultimate show of Cassidy's global tour, which took place on May 26, 1974, at London's White City Stadium, was a defining moment in Cassidy's live performances. The event occurred while she was still filming The Partridge Family. Nearly 800 people were hurt as a result of the crush that occurred at the front of the stage. A total of 30 people were transported to the hospital, and Bernadette Whelan, a little girl of 14 years old, passed away at the Hammersmith Hospital in London without regaining consciousness 4 days later. In an effort to make sense of what had transpired, a deeply distraught Cassidy confronted the press that was present. Cassidy did not attend the funeral service because he wanted to show respect for the family and avoid turning the funeral of the girl into a media circus. However, he did speak to Whelan's parents and send flowers. During that time, Cassidy expressed that this would continue to torment him until the moment he passed away. At this point, Cassidy had made the decision to stop performing on tour, as well as acting in The Partridge Family. Instead, she would focus on getting her music recorded and writing songs. He proceeded to enjoy success on a global scale, primarily in the countries of Great Britain, Germany, Japan, and South Africa, when he recorded 3 solo albums that were well received, and several hit singles on RCA in the years 1974 and 1976. In Great Britain, I Write the Songs reached its highest position of number 11 on the top 30 chart, making Cassidy the first recording artist to achieve success with a hit. This was before the song became Barry Manilow's hallmark track. In collaboration with Bruce Johnston of the Beach Boys, who was also the song's author and composer, Cassidy was a co-producer of the recording. Cassidy's big comeback. Cassidy made his comeback to the top 40 in the United States with the publication of his single Lying to Myself in 1990, which was taken from his album David Cassidy and published by Enigma Records. This was followed by the release of his album Didn't You Used to Be in 1992, which was released by Scotti Brothers Records. He released the song No Bridge I Wouldn't Cross from his album Old Trick New Dog, which was released on his own Slamma-Jamma Records label, and it became a smash in the adult contemporary music genre in the year 1998. Not only did he release his single Lying to Myself in 1990, but he also starred in the film comedy The Spirit of 76, in which he played the main character, a guy from the future who traveled to the United States in the year 1976 with the intention of locating the Constitution of the United States of America. Additionally, it was the year when he played a pivotal role in the love drama Instant Karma, in the Las Vegas show EFX, which was performed at the MGM Grand Las Vegas from November 1996 until December 1998. Cassidy was the star of the production. 37. Cassidy developed and acted in the Las Vegas musical At the Copa with Sheena Easton in the year 2000. He played both the younger and older versions of the main character, Johnny Flamingo. A citation is required. Then and Now, the album that Cassidy released in 2001, was certified platinum on a global scale and brought him back to the top 5 of the album charts in the United Kingdom, for the first time since 1974. In the film Pop Star, which was released in 2005, Cassidy portrayed the role of the manager of Aaron Carter's character. In the 2009 ABC family comedy series Ruby and the Rockets, which was produced by Sean, he appeared alongside his half-brother Patrick as a co-star. The series was only on the air for a brief period of time. On the season of Celebrity Apprentice that aired in 2011, Cassidy was one of the contestants. In the years following the waning of the Cassidy Mania phenomenon, Cassidy would frequently engage in question-and-answer sessions with his audience during his concerts. Cassidy gave a performance in the Villages, Florida, in August of 2016, and she invited a number of visitors to the side of the stage. She then asked and answered questions, and she engaged with residents of the community who had been fans of hers for almost half a century. Cassidy's personal life and marriages. The actress Kay Lenz was Cassidy's first wife. They tied the knot on April 3, 1977, and divorced on December 28, 1983. Cassidy's first wife was Kay Lenz. In 1984, Cassidy tied the knot with Meryl Tanz, a horse breeder, who came to be his second wife. They were at a horse sale in Lexington, Kentucky, in 1974 when they first met. In 1988, this marriage was terminated by a divorce. Katie Cassidy, an actress, was born in 1986 as a result of an adulterous affair that Cassidy had with Sherry Williams, a fashion model. Katie's mother and her stepfather, Richard Benedon, were responsible for her upbringing after David and Williams' relationship came to an end. David expressed his absence from Katie's life by stating, "I've never had a relationship with her." This statement was made sometime in February of 2017. "In no way was I her father. She was born to me, but I did not raise her. I was her biological father. The way she lives her life is quite different. I am pleased with her accomplishments. She possesses a great deal of talent. It's impossible for me to even come to terms with how old she is today." In 1991, on March 30th, Cassidy tied the knot with the songwriter Sue Schifrin. Schifrin was married for the second time, while Cassidy was married for the third time. In 1991, they made one child, a son named Beau. It was confirmed by Cassidy's publicist in Los Angeles in August 2013 that the couple had separated, and Schifrin filed for divorce in February of the following year. The year 2002 marked Cassidy's relocation to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Cassidy gets arrested. In the state of Florida. On November 3, 2010, Cassidy was taken into custody for driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. In the wee hours of August the 21st, 2013, Cassidy was taken into custody in Shodak, New York, for driving under the influence of DUI. In the process of passing a police car traveling in the opposite direction, he failed to dim his headlights, which resulted in him being pulled over. An alcohol breath test was administered to Cassidy after she had a bad performance on a field sobriety test. The results of the breath test revealed that her blood alcohol level was 0.10%, which was higher than the legal limit in New York, which is 0.08%. It was claimed by the officer who made the arrest that Cassidy was polite and cordial. In a playful manner, Cassidy asked the officer, "What's new, Pussycat?" in reference to a hit song that hit the charts in 1965 and was performed by the artist Tom Jones. She was arrested, taken to jail, and released several hours later on bond of $2,500. Cassidy was charged with the crime. On May 12, 2015, Cassidy was given a penalty that included a fine, community service, and a suspension of her license for a period of 6 months. After making an illegal right turn against a red light on January 10, 2014, Cassidy was taken into custody in the state of California on accusations of driving under the influence of alcohol.
That's when I started really drinking heavily. When she was in her last days, I would come to the hospital. I couldn't come unless I was completely intoxicated.
In addition to being placed on probation for a period of 5 years, he had to attend inpatient therapy and was held in jail for the entire night. Cassidy was issued a citation in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on September 9, 2015, for leaving the scene of an accident, improperly changing lanes, driving with a suspended license, and expired license plates. These charges were also brought against her: health challenges and death. In the year 2008, Cassidy made a public admission that he had a problem with alcohol after a performance in Agoura Hills, California. On February 20th, 2017, Cassidy made the announcement that he was living with dementia and that he was retiring from all further performing.
So you were not drunk at the Agoura Hills performance?
I was not at all.
No drugs, no alcohol?
I've never taken illegal drugs.
During the performance, he had difficulty remembering the lyrics of songs that he had been performing for nearly half a century, and he appeared to fall off the stage. He mentioned that both his mother and grandfather had also experienced dementia in their final years, and he stated, "I was in denial, but a part of me always knew this was coming." He also mentioned that his mother had passed away from dementia. After falling ill at a recording studio later in 2017, Cassidy was admitted to the hospital for treatment. Later on, he had a phone chat with an A&E producer, during which he disclosed that he had recently visited his physician, that he was suffering from liver illness, and that his life had undergone a significant transformation.
David, this is Saralena.
How are you?
I'm so glad to hear your voice. How are you?
I just met with the doctor, and my liver, I have a liver disease. My life has changed dramatically. The first few days I was unconscious and near death. The last week or so, my memories come back. That's such a blessing.
In addition, Cassidy mentioned that he had been unconscious and on the verge of passing away for the initial several days following the occurrence, but that his memory had come back about. It was also stated by Cassidy that there was no sign of dementia at this stage of his life. She went on to say that it was complete alcohol poisoning, and the fact is, I lied about my drinking. "You know, I did it to myself, man," Cassidy stated on the occasion.
It was complete alcohol poisoning. And the fact is, I lied about my drinking.
So do you think your memory loss was related to alcohol?
The head doctor at the hospital, she said, "I believe that your dementia was directly related to your alcoholism."
I did it to myself in order to conceal the emptiness and the despair that I was feeling. According to Cassidy, he had informed his family and other people that he had stopped drinking. On November 18, 2017, Cassidy was admitted to the hospital with liver and kidney failure. She was in a critical condition and was in a coma that was induced by medical professionals. 2 days later, he emerged from the coma, and his condition remained critical but stable throughout the entire process. However, on November 21, 2017, at the age of 67, Cassidy passed away due to liver failure. The doctors had thought that they could maintain him stable until a liver became available for transplant if they were successful. Katie Cassidy, his daughter, claims that this was the last thing he said before passing away. So much wasted time. David Cassidy cuts his daughter out of his will. In his will, Partridge Family star David Cassidy neglected to include his daughter Katie Cassidy. Instead, he left his son Bo Devin Cassidy the inheritance of his assets, which totaled $150,000. Documents that were obtained by the blast on Wednesday had the information regarding the arrangements published. It was stated by the Miami Herald that Cassidy, who passed away on November 21st at the age of 67, recently reconciled with his daughter after a period of estrangement. But he did not amend his will to reflect this reconciliation. Every single one of his comments to his child or children is entirely directed for Bo, and not toward Katie. The will is reportedly written in such a way that it states, "It is my specific intent not to provide any benefits hereunder to Catherine Evelyn Cassidy and or any descendant of Catherine Evelyn Cassidy." David Cassidy and Sue Schifrin, who are in their third marriage, are the parents of Bo, a singer-actor who is 26 years old. According to Newsday, the couple began their divorce proceedings in 2013, after having been married for more than 22 years. As a result of David's relationship with the model Sherry Williams, Katie Cassidy, who is now 31 years old, is his daughter. According to a report in the Daily Mail, the celebrity bequeathed his collections of music memorabilia to his half-siblings Sean, Ryan, and Patrick. As reported by the Daily Mail, Cassidy's connection with his daughter was fraught with difficulties, which ultimately led to the two of them becoming alienated prior to their reconciliation. "Because I didn't raise her, I didn't have to parent her," David said in an interview with People magazine in 2009. That interview was carried by Newsday. According to the Miami Herald, the Arrow actress was nurtured during the most of her childhood by her mother and stepfather, Richard Benedon, who is now Williams's husband. The previous month, she expressed her sorrow over his passing and indicated that they had reconciled on Twitter. Despite the fact that the cause of the breach between the father and daughter was not evident, the Miami Herald reported that it could be due to the fact that the two did not spend a significant amount of quality time together.